live whatever life you want to live and don't be concerned about everyone else's opinion, because at that point you're not living for yourself anymore.
On this week's episode, we have Robyn Neal, and I don't even know what to even describe her as. She just does so much, from content creating to just being, that gal on Instagram, and have all these things going for her. So thank you so much, Robyn, for being here with us.
Of course.
So the first thing I want to talk to you about is that you studied broadcast journalism, but you are most known as, and something that people really came to your personal YouTube channel was for your time at the Boston Celtics. So during your time in college, how did you see, that broadcast journalism going?
Well, in school, I didn't necessarily pick that as my first major. I went in as a business major, and then I started taking those classes, and I was like, this is definitely not the route I want to end up going. So I ended up having a conversation with my friends, and I said, I need to figure out a major ASAP. What do you all think I would be good at? And they actually are the ones that picked broadcast. So once they picked that for me and I decided or declared that as my major, I was like, now I have to start to get experience, figure out which route I want to take, whether it be media or sports. And then from there, just do everything I can to end up landing a job after school. So it wasn't even my initial path, but once it was in my mind, it was like, all right, what internships are available on campus? And then once I graduated, based on the internships that I had, what jobs can I go on and get? So that's kind of actually how that started. I didn't have that in the back of my mind, like going into college straight from high school. It was kind of something that just I stumbled upon, honestly.
I feel like a lot of people, when they go into college, they're like, yeah, I'm going to be a business major. I'm going to be the next doctor. I'm going to find the cure to cancer. And then they're like, oh, this is it. This isn't my cup
Yeah.
of tea.
You end up learning that while you're in school, which is a good part about school. You like figure out what you do and what you don't like.
Yeah, those are like the best parts. Now, the don't like stuff is the hard stuff to get through, because you're like, maybe I can like it if I change the circumstance, but like 9 times out of 10, girl, it's not it. And that's okay.
Exactly.
And you went to Illinois Urbana-Champaign. Did I say that right?
Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Yep.
I was close. The twang gets in the way of my pronunciation sometimes. But you're from Chicago, so you were like right up the road, I'm assuming.
Well, U of I was 2 hours away. So on a heavy traffic day, probably 2.5, but it's not that far from the city. Actually, Chicago has its own U of I campus. So I went to the one that is like the Big Ten University and is known for sports, whereas like the other one in Chicago, I think they're known for their medical program. So a little bit different, but they're all under the like University of Illinois umbrella, along with University of Illinois at Springfield.
And would you say like that was a good place for you to learn? You got a lot of opportunities in broadcast journalism, just in case somebody over here is from Chicago or looking at that school?
Yes, I guess you can say that. Like what I learned back then, I think is very different from what people would need to know now getting into the workspace. But back then it was beneficial for me, and I'm still very well connected with the school and like to stay involved as much as I can. But it was definitely good for me meeting good people, good friends, and I wouldn't like pick another school.
Oh, you gotta, sometimes it's like something about that diploma when you walk on that campus. It's like, okay, maybe it's not too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. I wouldn't complain about it.
So you spent some time at ESPN, and that's like, anyone who even likes sports, they don't even care about talking about or anything. They're like, oh, it'd be so fun to work at ESPN. I'm not saying that was your experience, but it's like that first day you were like, oh man, like I'm at ESPN.
I think I more so got that during my interview, because they fly us out there for the interviews. So you get a tour of the campus, you get to see everything. And it was never like a goal of mine to work at ESPN, to be honest. I just knew I needed a job in sports. And then I was applying to a bunch of places. The ESPN just happened to be one of the places that I applied to, and I applied for multiple positions. So while some people, like you said, it is their dream spot, like it's the destination for a lot of people, it just so happened to be my first stop on my journey, which says a well, I won't say it says a lot, but maybe a little bit, I guess people would say that. But it was a great experience for me. Getting to see it firsthand is completely different from what people watch at home. So it was a lot to take in, but at the same time, like, I've only ever been starstruck with one person. So even like working for a place like that, I didn't get too caught up in the name or anything like that. It was more so me trying to get the experience and, of course, have those 4 letters on my resume. But aside from that, I never like got caught up in the fact that I worked there. Like, I knew I worked there and there was benefit to that, but I didn't let that get to my head.
Oh yeah, who were you starstruck by?
Oh, definitely not an athlete. It was more so an artist. And if anybody that knows me, they know I like back in the day, I had this like strong love for Trey Songz, super big fan of him. That was probably the only person ever. But since him, literally no one.
Okay, like I don't blame you. Like everyone knows that like your side of the bed Trey Songs, that like put it in your bag Trey Songs. Like that was an iconic moment in music history. So I don't
Yeah,
blame you
for
for that one.
sure.
Yeah, I completely agree with you with like the athlete non starstruck. I think because kind of like how you worked in production when you were at ESPN, I really enjoy like the human side of athletes. So it's like I feel like it's weird to be starstruck by them. Now, everyone knows I love me some Holly Rowe now, but I'm pretty sure that's probably the only person I would be starstruck by. But I I really enjoy like that storytelling and the humanizing of athletes.
Yeah, I agree with that. Humanizing them is always the way to go. And once you realize they're just normal people that go through the same things that you do, it kind of brings them back down to earth almost. It makes it attainable. And when you run into them, it's not you being starstruck, it's more so like a real normal type conversation.
And you kind of have to build that repertoire with the career, especially if you want to work in sports, because every 5 seconds you can't just be asking someone, hey, can we like get a picture when like you're trying to do your job.
Exactly. And a lot of these places have rules anyway in place where if you see somebody around, they're technically considered your coworker if they're there to do work. So just as you wouldn't like ask your homie all the time for a picture, when you run into somebody that is there to do a show or be on a show, you aren't asking them for a photo all the time. So it's definitely in the rules and like, people abide by those for the most part.
And talking about the rules, I kind of skipped over this a little bit at the beginning, but Robyn has her YouTube channel and she's really filmed, photographed, and really repertoired her experience in the Boston Celtics specifically. So if y'all want to go check those out, I'll definitely put the videos and her channel, especially in the description below. But first, I want to say thank you for doing that because I feel like a lot of people, you know, especially with like YouTube and now you see like every 5 seconds, like, why quit BuzzFeed videos? But I feel like if it's for any other subject, people don't speak about it. And what was your reason to speak about it?
I guess kind of similar reasons why you explain. A lot of people don't talk about it. There are so many people I know that have left organizations that went on to others or that don't even want to be in sports at all anymore. And while I understand from my standpoint and what I've been through, why I would leave and why I left, for them, same situation. Like I can understand their sentiments and why they would want to leave. But I think sometimes people are just nervous or scared because if they want to stay in that particular field, they don't want to rub any other companies the wrong way, or shoot, some of them are just over it. They're like, I don't even want to talk about it anymore at this point. It is what it is. But for me, I have a lot of students and young professionals that reach out and they're always asking questions. A lot of them are asking the same question to me. So I figured put it all in one video. So whenever they come to ask those questions, it's like, hey, this is where you can go. You'll get all of your answers. It's my most candid, honest answers about everything that everyone wanted to know. And it wasn't like I was trying to take digs or anything. It's more so me really just talking about my experience, what I went through, just in case other people want to take a similar path.
Definitely, because that honesty is not only needed in sports today, but I feel like in any business, because when you're a student or not even necessarily a student, but someone going and changing your career path, you kind of want to see those opportunities and people who's been in those shoes you're trying to step into and seeing their experience, may it be good, bad, or in between, so you can know kind of what you want to get yourself into. Because personally, I know I'm like a planner, like I'm a free bird planner. Like I kind of give me a box and I'll figure out how I want to walk around the box, but I just need the box. So the fact that people like you, not only in sports, but provide people with those opportunities, that's very good, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Whatever I can do to help, which I typically try my best. Now I'm getting a little bit worn out, but now I have those videos. So like I said, when people have questions, I usually send them right there. Like anything you're probably going to ask me, I probably answered it here. So that's the first place that you should go to watch and see if it is answered.
Yes, y'all definitely need to go check out those videos, because I mean, she answered some questions I was really not expecting you to answer, and you even said that when you were especially answering the money questions and things like that, because
Yep.
that's already a taboo in today's society to talk about how much you make, and the
Mm-hmm.
fact that some people do feel like uncomfortable talking about if they think they make too much compared to their friends, or if they make too little, and the fact that you were so candid and so open with that is good to see. Not that like I'm out here about to make a why I quit WIZ
Right.
video or sometime, but you know, for anyone, especially anyone who wants to go into the creator space, because I know that is popping as creators and people
Very
who want
much
to start
so.
their people who want to start their own brands, or people who just kind of want to explore and have time capsules of their life, like vloggers and things like that, kind of the more role you're stepping into. Talking about creating in YouTube more, your YouTube channel started out as a hair channel. And I was like,
Mhm.
hold up now, wait a minute. How did we get from hair channel to we're like posting our vlogs, going to our friends' wedding receptions? Like that was such a 180.
Well, the first one that kind of got people's attention was a couple of years ago. Before that, I was just posting different things. It's YouTube. I feel like you post whatever you like. It's my channel. So whatever I think of and I want to record and post, I go and do that. Ultimately, because I like to be creative, I like to edit. So it's my outlet for me to be able to do all of those things. And then I started looking at a lot of other people's vlogs, and I just love vlogs. And I was doing a lot at work that I'm more than positive people were interested in and they wanted to learn more about, but also like in my personal life, I just like vlogging. So that's kind of how that turned into that. And I only really started getting back active recently, like in the past month or so. I know with my transition and like leaving here and leaving the city, I wanted to, like you said, have a memory of all my time here, but also other people that may be moving or trying to figure out a different career path, whatever the case may be. Like someone could probably find it helpful. So if I could just put something up in my own creative way without limitations, that's the best way for me to be able to do that. So now, instead of just having a channel that focuses solely on hair, I'm like, I can do whatever I want, which I do whatever I want. And people like it, they don't like it, they'll watch it or they won't watch it. But nonetheless, I'm doing what I like to do and that I'm staying true to myself, which I appreciate about me.
That's so important, and not even when kind of how Instagram in a way like it really took a toll in like 2016 and 17, how you know now people are like make Instagram casual again. Like I always feel like that's weird, even when people are like, can we not make, you know, everyone's talking about low rise jeans now, can we not make low rise jeans trendy? Like you don't have to wear it if you don't want to.
Right. You
Like
can
you
be
don't.
whoever you want to be. You don't have to conform to anything. You can change if you want. You cannot change if you want. Live whatever life you want to live and don't be concerned about everyone else's opinion, because at that point, you're not living for yourself anymore. You're living for other people. And I choose not to live for anybody but Robyn.
You got to, because that's the only person you're gonna be stuck with at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And you really started out your journey, you know, was sports your destination? Was that your goal? Was that a passion of yours?
So I was an athlete back in the day, super far back in the day. I ran track in like elementary school, a little bit of high school, but that wasn't where I thought I was gonna go at all. But once I decided that my friends decided that broadcast was going to be my major, I was like, all right, well, I got to figure out something on campus. I went to a Big Ten university, so it was literally in my backyard. And I'm like, all right, this is the perfect route for me to take. It was very accessible for me. Our student athletes being able to create, there are a lot of programs that were on campus through different networks like Big Ten and ESPN. So I was able to get my feet wet immediately, which is what I liked. But like I said, once it came in my mind, like, all right, sports is the route that I'm going to take, it was full steam ahead, everything sports. And I just figured it out as I went along, honestly.
That's interesting because I feel like a lot of people who played sports when they were younger, especially, they're like, okay, this is gonna be it. Okay, I don't play, I'm gonna be an agent. I can't be an agent because that takes a lot of time that people don't realize it takes to become an agent. They're like,
Yep.
okay, I'll just work for a team. Oh, I won't work for a team, I'll work for like the league. And so the fact that you didn't like kind of put yourself in that box was very interesting. And I did an episode with my friend Madison, who chose not to take a softball scholarship and just go to college and be a college student. And she was talking about like those opportunities, how she chose not to be stuck as a coach or a player and things like that. So do you feel like that's something you felt not necessarily pressured to do, but you felt like that was kind of how society or someone was kind of pushing you in that direction?
I did not feel like I had to or had any pressures. I, as an athlete back in the day, I knew I wasn't going to go on to be in the Olympics or anything. So I already knew right after high school that I would need to find a career path that I like to be able to pursue in college. So, like other people who have done sports when they were younger, all the way up and through, and they're like, I want to go on to play professionally, that was not what I had in mind for me. So immediately, like, I started thinking at a young age about what it is that I wanted to do, and that's the route I ended up taking. So how some people feel like cornered or pressured to stay within sports or work for the specific sport that they've been involved in all of their lives. I never ever felt that way.
But something that you're really known for on Instagrams, especially, is your sports playbook. And how did you even think about starting that?
I think it started or originated on TikTok. A lot of people were interested in what it is that I was doing because I was doing like game day in the life videos, just showcasing what I did on a typical game night. And other people started commenting like, well, how did you get this job? How can somebody find this job? Are there other positions like that? So I started posting jobs on TikTok, highlighting like what was available, what was popping up in sports. And they were getting tons of views. So I'm like, all right, I can just turn that into an Instagram page. So I literally did it in one night, probably a couple hours, created that page. I went back to TikTok, created another video highlighting a job. And I was like, and if you want more, you can go now to this Instagram page that I created. And that's how all the traffic started to go over to that account. And people started following to find out about jobs or internships, having other people take over and do a day in the life of their job so they can learn more.
Yeah, I feel I was very interested because that's how I found you through that. And like I randomly got like recommended one of your hair videos and I was like, oh, who's this? And then I saw like at the top of your page, it was like, I was like, oh wow, we love her. Let's dive in more. You know, I really got sucked into that YouTube algorithm. It really ate me up. But I think that's an interesting idea, especially because I know definitely has to be like one of the top jobs in blank. And so the fact that you created a page for people just to go to it and it's very accessible to you, and not only does she post, you know, like she said, the day in the lives and job openings or internship openings, she gives like shout outs to people who actually like graduated or they've took those internships and things like that. And I feel like that's also important as well.
I had noticed that a lot of students were on the account, obviously trying to figure out something after graduation. I'm like, what's another piece of content that I can put here? And it was approaching graduation season. Some people were reaching out saying that they had gotten jobs based off what I had posted and they were going to go there after college. So it was a perfect place for me to put all of that. Graduates, anybody that did end up getting a job, doing a job shout out. Just a place basically for everyone to build community, learn about other people in the industry, what's out there, get to know people in their area, and hopefully it's going to continue to go in that direction. But definitely using it for as much as I can to shout people out, shout out different jobs, and allow students and young professionals to learn as much as possible about sports and like the opportunities that are available within that field.
Definitely. And people really need that. But as someone who, you know, you said you're kind of like taking a step back after your current experience and things like that, do you feel like you would like to see your playbook kind of like further, or future things you would like to do with that?
Well, I want to continue with what's going on now. I'm not going to have a bunch of time in the next few months to like grow it more in terms of the content that's on there, aside from what I already have planned. And I actually have some students that are helping me at the moment run the page. So they'll come up with the job postings or find the job postings. They'll create them all. They'll post them themselves. They'll post some of the engagement posts. So I'm allowing them to kind of run with it. If they have ideas, I say post whatever it is that you would like. I don't mind at all, as long as like it's staying in the general format. I don't mind. But then once I have more time, which I don't even know when that's going to be, so I'm not going to give myself a timeline, but whenever that is, I would definitely want to brainstorm more ideas and figure out how to grow it even more and make it more beneficial for a wider range of people.
Yeah, because I mean that's a format that I feel like can be used for any job field, job anywhere in the world. Because one, Instagram came out and said they're like, we're not a photo platform. So the fact that people can now kind of turn it on its head and make it more informational based, because, you know, the gals love a Canva graphic over at Instagram. So for someone, if you're out there and you're listening, you can really turn any idea into something nowadays.
You can. I'm always shooting for anything. If you can come up with it, you can do it.
And one of the things we do over here at Her Sports Convo, we play a little game. I say a word or a phrase, and you give us the first thing that comes to your mind or a story with it if you have it, okay? So your first word is Love Island.
Oh, that's actually like my favorite show right now. I'm that's why I'm looking at the time, because I'm supposed to go out to dinner tonight, and I'm like, dang, this is about to run into my Love Island hour. How am I going to be able to still come back, watch it, do recaps on it? But I love the show. Love Island. I love. I am Team Cash all the way this season. I love Wes and Slay, the new guys that just came in. So I'm like Love Island crazy. Love the show.
Like, I'm personally a Love Island UK kind of gal. Like, the US just doesn't hit for me like the UK does. Like I'll watch the US in passing. Like, okay, there's nothing on TV. I'm waiting for this to come on. I'll just watch it for 30 minutes. But it's just, I think it's the accents that really do it for me for the UK.
Yeah, I haven't watched the UK version, only the US version, simply because I feel like I can relate to them more when they talk about locations or whatever. I know where they're from, or on this season, like I know a guy that sees from TikTok. So in those instances, like I'm more familiar with them. And it seems like they're more attainable if you're interested in them, whatever the case may be, like because they're in the
America,
US, you have more of a chance of running into them or like seeing them out and about. But I love Love Island. Love it.
Love it. Love Island, call us. We're ready. I mean, Love Island after show, Ashleigh and Robyn, y'all know y'all would love it. Your next word is journalism.
First thing that comes to my mind.
It doesn't have to be good. It can be bad.
Usually I try not to think of too much that's bad, but journalism. Okay, the first thing I thought of will have to be my alma mater, obviously. So shout out to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. If anybody is thinking about pursuing a career in journalism, I would definitely recommend. Amazing campus, like amazing people. You'll have the time of your life. They say college are the best 4 years of your life, and they really were for me. And the broadcast journalism school or college of media definitely helped me in terms of getting to where I needed to be and learning what I had to learn. So basically just a shout out to them and what I was able to learn and the people I was able to meet.
Definitely. And your last one is Camp Edwards.
Oh, you've been on my YouTube for sure.
Oh, I'm a professional
you've been on there for
internet
sure.
stalker. Professional internet stalker.
Camp Edwards, so family camp, obviously. I went a couple of weeks ago for the 4th of July. And ironically, or kind of not ironically, that's also a camp I went to in elementary school with my school. It was like our 6th grade trip. So every year the 6th graders went to Camp Edwards for like 2 days. It's always super fun, a way to get off the map and just like do your thing. It's a way to like reconnect with yourself, not worry about technology because they don't have Wi-Fi. The service is absolutely terrible. So you really have to like focus on yourself and doing other activities and being present in the moment. And that's a thing me and my family we try to do it once a year, or at least take a trip somewhere. But we've been to Camp Edwards multiple times as a family, and I went there with my elementary school, so they always have a special place with me.
Oh, love to see it. Well, you guys, if you want to know what Robyn's next step is, you're just gonna have to subscribe to her YouTube channel, because we're leaving you on a cliffhanger over here. We're leaving you on a cliffhanger. But Robyn, tell everyone where they can find you on the internets, on the interwebs.
I'm Robyn M. Neal, literally on everything. My main accounts that I'm active on: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, like my favorite ones of all time. If you see me on any other like social media outlets, it's more than likely not me, because I don't have many of the other ones, but those are top profiles where I'm going to make all my announcements first if I decide I want to announce where I'm going next. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Send a message. Also, Sports Playbook on Instagram. That's the only account for that as well. I think that is about it.
Sounds great to us. Well, thank you so much for coming on with us, Robyn.